In Canada, recently we had a high-profile IPO, a company called Nuvei, which is a rapidly growing player in the world of payments. And like a lot of stories in technology, there was pretty strong demand for this IPO. Fayer is the CEO of Nuvei, and he joins us now with more on the company. Thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Fayer.
Having me.
So let's talk a little bit about the business of Nuvei. First of all, for those who aren't that familiar with it, I think we're talking a lot about different technology stories here at BNN Bloomberg. I think people have gotten used to what it is that Shopify is all about. They've heard about Lightspeed and point of sale. In the payments business, though, what has been your primary focus?
Look, our focus has always been to help our customers connect with their customers, and our customers typically operate on a global basis. So we help them create a local marketplace for wherever they operate.
Okay, and so what does that mean? Like, let's take COVID-19 as an example. Not a lot of people using cash right now, and I think we're even wondering whether or not, because of what we've gone through during the pandemic, whether we're ever going to use a lot of cash or have a lot of cash in our pockets. What's been happening with your business? Maybe a couple of anecdotes you can share with us over these last 6 months.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have been focused on digital, so we're always focused on very niche verticals. And these verticals have the propensity to operate globally. These verticals have very interesting tailwinds, leaving COVID aside. And then naturally, when we look at the verticals itself of how consumers are consuming has changed significantly over the last 10 years and have been accelerated in terms of their change versus what we're seeing now with COVID. But from our standpoint, where we focus on the niches that we operate in, the technology that we provide, leaving COVID aside, we've seen some very significant growth, greater wallet share, greater expansion from our technology. And naturally, COVID, we think, has been an impetus for more folks looking to bring their business online, and it's been a positive impact for Nuvei.
And this has been an evolution for Nuvei because, sometimes you think of tech company going public, maybe they've been around, 5 years, maybe 10 years. Yeah. You've got a richer history than that.
We do, yeah. We started in 2003, and our focus at the time was Main Street, small businesses, and we looked at how payment and the ecosystem were changing, and it's really all about how folks were connecting with their customers and how merchants needed to expand their business. And in 2015, we started focusing on e-commerce and digital first. In 2017, we welcomed NovaCap and CDPQ as equity partners, and really the thesis there was to accelerate our growth in e-commerce. And at the time, we were about 30% e-commerce, and today, 71% growing of our business, our global businesses, utilizing our technology really a la carte in terms of what is right for them as they grow from market to market and connect with their customers.
All right. Well, speaking of investors, and we've got a lot of them who tune in, we were covering your IPO, obviously a lot of interest in it. But at the same time, to be the CEO of a company that's going public during a pandemic, what was that process like?
There were some good and bad. I think the positive side is that we were able to be very efficient with time, both from our end and the investors by doing it online. I think naturally investors were looking at what is resilient in terms of where they invest into and really underwriting what verticals that we'd operate in. And naturally, from a Nuvei standpoint, us being digital was helpful. But overall, I can't comment really about other IPOs. For us, it was interesting. It was long. But it was online, which was a benefit to us.
Well, I think maybe you can explain to us why you went public. There are so many technology-related IPOs we've heard about recently, not just in Canada, but in the U.S. as well. And every company is different. For you, what was ultimately the reason to go down this road?
There was multiple. I think if we break it down, for one, we wanted to have our shareholders help us with a liquidity event, meaning not liquidity, a financing event, excuse me, and that allowed us, we think, quite a bit of room for future M&A. The second one was giving visibility and opportunity to our current customers, and really most importantly was our employees. So within this IPO, every employee got an IPO stock grant of around $100,000, and helping them align not only as the rock stars that they are, but more importantly, to grow now as shareholders as we continue growing the business.
Yeah, it's certainly key to get the employees excited about the future plans. It's interesting to hear you talk about M&A. Can you just elaborate on that? How much money you might be looking to spend on companies? Are you talking about buying more companies in Canada? Is this a global story?
Very much global. For us, M&A is part and parcel of how we operate. And ultimately, if you want to take it a step higher, we're always looking to help our customers connect with their customers. So for us, there'll be a digital underlying to the opportunity, and we'll look at geography. How do we help our customers expand to new geographies or the targets in our geographies? Same concept about capability. How do we help with additional capabilities? And the last is scale and licensing, meaning how does it help us as we continue scaling? Those are the underpinnings. And from a size perspective, we have a pretty deep M&A pipeline, and we're very selective, but we're excited about what is presenting to us today and what we have in terms of opportunities.
Mr. Fayer, just sort of a bigger picture question, because you're joining us on a day when we're going to hear a lot from the federal government on their roadmap, not just for the months ahead in dealing with COVID, but some ideas, some bigger ideas for the economy going forward. Now, your company is growing quickly. You are a Canadian headquartered business. You have a sense on where the economy could be headed. I'm curious what you'd like to hear maybe from the government, but also how you feel about Canada's place in the world as a CEO.
Look, I think from our end, I'll unpack it a little bit differently. I love Canada. I love our life here. I love the opportunities that it presents. I think Canada, certainly on the tech scale, has so many opportunities, and what we're seeing around just from fintech and other opportunities across Canada, it's very, very exciting. I think that from an overall perspective, be it second wave of COVID or pandemic or other, we operate globally, right? So as different waves happen, our business is impacted slightly different depending on the geographies. But again, the verticals that we operate in are fairly resilient and somewhat sheltered, mostly from COVID. And in fact, depending on different initiatives that are happening, we may stand to benefit from it. But I think from coming back to Canada, I think Canada has tremendous opportunity, and we're seeing so much innovation coming out of Canada.
All right. Philip, thanks very much. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
It's Phil Fayer, the CEO of Nuvei, which recently listed on the TSX NVEI, and we're going to